This is Gregory Shelton from Historic Living Modern World. Today I'm in Coatesville, PA at the Coatesville Grand Prix. Motorcycles, vintage cars, racing, oil and gasoline, all of my favorite things. So we have Dane Holland here with an amazing car. Dane, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell us about the race that you already in the first race. How was it?
Oh, it was wonderful. The course is set up very fun. The chicanes slow us down, but they also give you something to shoot through. So it was a lot of fun. I was doing pretty well out in front, and then one of the Porsches caught me and went on by. So I gave him the room.
Gotcha. Do you have another race coming up? Or
yes, we go out after this group.
Gotcha.
Right.
So tell me about your car, because it's one of the best cars I've seen all day. It's a beautiful car. I mean, how could you beat a Jaguar like this? So tell me how long you've had it, and tell me about it that makes it your car that you love.
Great, thank you. Very kind of you, by the way. So it's a 1963. I've had it since 1991. I'm the second owner. The first guy raced it for 2 years, 63 to 5, then stored it until 91 when I got it.
Okay.
It has a total of 12,000 miles on it.
Wow.
It's mostly original. It came from the factory with some race preparation. It's got some brakes off of a big Mark 9 saloon car.
Wow.
It's got some suspension upgrades. The original gearbox is long gone, as most are. But other than that, it's a lot of originality to it, and we've kept it in that shape. It came with these wheels and so on.
It's beautiful. So, having a Jaguar, are you consider yourself an Anglophile for British stuff, or is it just this?
That's a fair question. I guess I'll stay Anglophile. Yeah.
Are you a bike rider too, or you just?
I have a BMW motorcycle.
Nice.
That I got in college, and I've held on to that all these years. So once I get something sweet, I hold on to it.
Stick with it. That's important, because you can tell the care that you put into this vehicle.
Right.
But when I saw it riding, it looks like it's not a barn. It's not something sits in the barn. It's something you take care of, and that's really important. How did you get into racing?
I have a friend named Brian Donovan. Anybody that sees this in the Jaguar world will know the name.
Okay.
He's a good friend of mine. He's up in Massachusetts. He runs a racing program.
Gotcha.
Pretty serious. And so I crewed with him for a number of years in the 90s, and he helped me find this car. Right. So staying close to him keeps me connected to the whole vintage scene.
Gotcha. To me, having a 60 Jaguar is a pinnacle for cars. What car do you salivate when you see online?
This.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
I mean, there are some beautiful Ferraris that catch my eye.
Right.
Some beautiful Ferraris. And that's probably the only other in my personal competition would be a Ferrari.
Gotcha. Is this street ready?
Yes.
Okay, so you can drive on or off.
Yep,
wonderful.
Yep.
So if I was because we're in the same town, if I see this, I know exactly where it came from.
You might see me rolling down
and
the
I
road.
would love to catch up with you, have a beer, because I would love to see your bikes and love to see your car, man.
Super.
Thank you very much for making the time. So we're here today with two guys with the oldest bikes of the day. I think the coolest bikes of the day. Tell me your name and tell me what bike you're riding today.
Doug Wood, a 1950 Vincent Comet.
Gotcha.
And Scott Dell, and it's a 1930 Scott TT replica.
Gotcha. So tell me a bit about your bike. So how long you've had it, and I know you own both bikes, correct?
Right. I own both of them this time. Had the TT, I think, for about 20 years.
Okay.
But we don't get to use it much because there's nowhere to vintage race it.
Okay.
It doesn't fit in any modern race classes, so
Gotcha.
we bring it here as a little display.
Gotcha.
Give the crowd something different.
Right, understood. So tell me what bikes you have in your home garage.
Okay, we have a couple of Vincents, a couple of Bruff Superiors, the Scott, a couple of Nortons, mountain bike Ducatis, stuff like that. You know,
Gotcha.
gotta have something on the road every day, so you ride a Ducati.
Are both you guys pretty much British fans as far as British bikes?
Well, I've got Moto Guzzi's,
Okay.
a Falcone and a Model S 500. My wife's got two Ducatis.
Nice.
Vincent's.
She wears the pants in the family and rides the big bikes.
You can tell you guys have been buddies for a long time. So what were you guys like as kids? Were you guys thrill seekers, or what? Tell me about.
It was all from that high. It was mini bikes, and
You guys were
go
riding,
mini bikes,
racing,
yeah.
creating jumps, dirt biking.
I was a nerd. I still am.
So coming to Coatesville, is this how many years have you been there? Or is this your first year?
I've done this, I think, 4 times maybe. This is the 4th time I've done it.
Okay.
A couple times with the Vincent, then a couple times with this Scott. Just because these are bikes I can't use anywhere else. You know?
For sure.
The Vincent, we race almost every other weekend in the summer right now on a race circuit. So we can use that in places. But the Scott we can't.
So you guys both raced today so far.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't call it my riding racing.
I did see you picking up the tail end.
We had mechanicals.
It's all good though, but I tell you, the bike looks great. Now I have to ask you, as a watcher and as a rider myself, do you guys really put on a show here and get on this right away and then calm it down to get past that?
That's the place to do it.
Yeah, right.
The rest of the track you can motor around. It's not really.
Gotcha. So will we expect to see you guys here next year?
I'm sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's close enough to home to do it.
Gotcha. Last question for you. If you could have any bike that you don't have at home, what would it be?
I've got every bike I want.
Do you really? Congratulations. How about you?
Probably the same. Yeah, I've got most of the things I've ever wanted.
Right.
And in particular, the ones I didn't have, well, I just made them.
Gotcha.
So we made a couple of them from
I
scratch.
got a couple for sale, Greg, if you're interested.
You might have to email me about it. Listen, I hope you guys have a safe race. Get back in there. I'm glad you came out. We had a wonderful time. It was great meeting both of you.
Great.
Thank you very much,
Today's
guys.
about having fun. Not
It
racing.
is, absolutely.
thanks.
Thank you. So we have Dave Smith here. Dave raced in the first race, and he has an amazing car. Congratulations on entering the first race. Absolutely. So tell me a bit about your car.
Well, it's a 1965 Beach Formula V.
Okay.
It was one of, I believe, 285 of the cars built by Competition Cars in St. Petersburg, Florida. The company was started by a fellow named Gene Beach. He built these cars and a number of other types as well.
Gotcha. So this is a rare car. It's also a vintage car. When was this designed?
Well, the car was built in 1965, and
Okay.
That's approximately 1 year after the class was started, Formula V. And this was a competitive car in 1965 in Formula V.
Gotcha. Would that be an American type formula, or is it something that would go across the world?
Well, Formula V was introduced as a low dollar, a budget way to get into racing.
Entry level, right?
Entry level,
Yeah.
and basically it's spread worldwide. They're everywhere. Australia, Europe, all over the place. Africa, the United
Gotcha.
States, Canada.
Right. So if you went to another country, you could race this just like anybody else.
Yes, I could.
Very, very cool. And what makes this experience your car? Why do you love this as your race car?
Well, I've been accused of trying to save them all.
Okay. Haven't we all, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a number of these cars.
Okay.
So it's just a passion I have.
So we have Rob Malinowski here, who has an amazing Triumph here. You win the award for the loudest bike of the day. So Rob, thank you very much for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Wonderful. So tell me a little bit about your bike that you're driving today.
Well, it's actually not mine. It belongs to Kendrick Strom.
Okay. Also a friend of mine, I know Kendrick.
Yeah. Quaker City Motorworks in Glenside. And he wasn't able to make it here today, so he asked if I could ride it.
Okay.
And of course, yes.
Right.
Yes, I can.
Is this your first time at this event?
Yeah, it is.
Gotcha. What'd you think?
It's a lot of fun.
Loads of fun.
Everybody's got to come out.
Great, it's wonderful. The first thing I noticed when I saw your bike, being a BSA guy and owning a Triumph, I could tell that it had a little bit of mixture of parts on there. So tell me a little bit about what this bike is,
Oh,
to your knowledge, right?
yeah, to my knowledge, it's the epitome of race bike for that era.
Gotcha.
It's you make what you have, and you make it fast, and that's a race bike. It's got the tank. It's not only a Triumph, Triumph BSA, same design.
Pretty much the
So,
same thing.
Under the Triumph sticker, you'll see little BSA was like
Scratched
on
out.
there
Okay,
with-
gotcha. So when you think of 60s racers, the word cafe racer always comes up. And everyone who's done any research on that time frame or lived through that, know that they want to go from cafe to cafe over 100 miles an hour. And I would believe that they would add anything that would give them that edge. I'm assuming that's what this is almost in the back of the time.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Add whatever give you more horsepower.
Kendrick spent a lot of time like tweaking it, finding parts for it, all that to give it that edge. It's great.
Listen, I know you got another race coming up. I hope you have a safe race. I hope you do well, and thank you very much for making the time.
have a great day.
Thank
man.
you, Rob.
This is
Appreciate
just,
it, man.
like, so much fun.
I'm Greg Sheldon. What's your name?
William Simpson.
Thank you very much for making the time, Wayne. So I saw your BMW. You're the best dressed of the day. Your bike looks bulletproof. What's it feel like to ride that bike in this event today?
Well, it feels really raw. I've always wanted BMWs since I was a kid. I had all the Japanese bikes, and I thought someday I'm going to have a BMW. The R9T, it's got a lot of soul to it. It's a twin.
Okay.
You know, it thumps, tremendous torque. It has refinement because it's got modern suspension. You know, it's got push button start. But that engine is basically from the 1920s.
Wow.
Right? It's a 100-year-old
Dual twins are
architecture.
British. Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So my bike is a R9T.
Okay.
It's a tribute bike to the R90.
Yes, I think there was an R90
There's
here,
an
wasn't
R90
it? With the
right
with the
there.
brown seat, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay,
the
there you go.
bike
Yep.
around the seat. So that's like a 900cc bike. You know, that
Sure.
that was pretty competitive when you set them up for racing back in the 70s.
Sure.
So mine's a tribute to that bike.
Gotcha.
It's a 1200cc bike. Probably makes easily twice the horsepower
Sure.
of the predecessor. But you know, the feel's still there.
Gotcha. Will we see you here next year?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Listen, thank you very much for making the time. More importantly, be safe on your next ride.
Oh, thank you.
Already been dispatched.
Gosh, I had such a wonderful time today at the Coatesville Grand Prix. Old vintage cars, vintage bikes, racing through the street, gasoline, oil. What else could a guy ask for? If you like what you've seen today, make sure you click like and subscribe. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. This is Gregory Shelton from Historic Living Modern World, reminding you whenever you do something, always work to move people. Cheers.